there, folks. So I wanted to create a quick video in regards to our piece from art history. This is Edvard Munch's The Scream. And as I've said many times in the past, you've probably seen this somewhere. If not the image, probably the screamer themselves. But there's a lot of places that history has made this definitely famous. And what we're trying to do is, it's two pieces. The first is to think about why someone might end up screaming. What is this person thinking about? What are they looking at? And what you as a group did very well was to determine it's really one of two possibilities. This person could be extremely frightened by something, or they could be extremely excited by something. So the goal here then is to recreate this piece with some kind of visual thought bubble that shows, not tells, but shows what it is this person is screaming about. So we started this week by brainstorming some things that someone could either be excited about or fearful about. And then from that, we moved on to actually sketching this piece, because I did share this with you through Unified. Now, the next part of this would be to start experimenting with your oil pastels or crayons. Now, you may already have some of these at home. Some people do, some people don't. But typically, if you think of a crayon, because everybody's used crayon before, your crayons have a bit more oil in them. It's a different mixture of particles and materials. So they kind of glide like a crayon, but it's a little bit easier. And then when you look at oil pastels, they have a little bit more in them. So what I love about these is how easily you can smudge and smush and move things around. So for this, you're going to have some paper. And I was playing around a little bit on it this morning when I was showing the group. And just turn this upside down here for a second so we can see some of this. I do advise playing with the oil pastels first so you can kind of get a feel for what they're like. But if I'm looking at the sky, I'm noticing that there's definitely orange, there's red, there's some yellow, and honestly there's some blue that's happening right in there. And I might just throw in some white just for kicks. All right, so I've got this series right here. Now, if I'm looking at the sky, the predominant color, the dominant color really feels orange. And if you notice, the strokes are kind of waves. These lines kind of create waves. So as you're using your oil pastel, you want to try to avoid kind of coloring like this, like sometimes we do with colored pencil. What you really want to do is you want to not be afraid and really glide and press on that color. Okay? And as you start adding color, you can also choose other colors and start kind of adding them in and seeing what that does. And then you can use your finger and start smudging some of this color together. Some folks like to do that. Some folks like to take similar colors and start to overlay and smudge together, and you can kind of see the range, the beautiful value range that's being created here. You can also add in some white. Typically, the darker colors tend to overtake a little bit, but you can start to add on layers. And this pastel paper is textured. So what that does is it helps grip the color in just a little bit more. Now, some people, when they're using oil pastels, they like to use strokes that kind of are like this. They kind of layer on the color this way with lights and darks, and each color starts to fill in different spots as they go, and they can kind of create areas that are lighter and darker depending on what they're doing. But in this piece, the lines are so obvious as far as long waves, and even like the boardwalk, it goes off in this direction. The water seems to smooth and come around like this. So those are things you want to pay attention to when you finally get to adding color. But play a little bit with it first to get kind of the feeling of it. When you're ready, you're going to start drawing this piece. And what I recommend is, when you look at it, the person, the top of their head is really in about the center of this piece. So if you figure out where the center of your paper is, then you know that's going to be the top of the head. And the head itself, if you start with a circle and then add a little bit of like a cup on the bottom, or if you think of it like a light bulb, that's going to help you. Once you've created the body, which has a little kind of an S curve to it, then I would suggest grab your ruler and figure that there's going to be some kind of vanishing point that's going to be right about where this dot is. And then you can put the edge of your ruler, if this were my ruler, you can start to create these lines to the boardwalk, because remember, the point's going to start at that line, and then you're just going to rotate your ruler to create those edges. Okay? The other thing is, if you start to look at how the paper is divided up, the sky is about roughly 1/3 of this image. So when you figure out where your boardwalk is, you can put the sky up there too. Okay? So that's kind of some structure of the image, how to play with pastel, with crepas or oil pastels. Now here's my example. This right here, I've got my screamer. And still a work in progress. I've got this person, my paper's a little bit bigger than what yours will be, but their head is about halfway up the paper. And then I've got the lines that show the edge of this bridge or whatever they're on. And then I got a nice big thought bubble here. And this person is thinking about accidentally slipping in the shower. So we've got our person here. I did add in feet, and I don't know what this person's feet look like, but I kind of made them boots because the hands are kind of mittens. And then I put a shower cap on, and you can see the edge of the bathtub here and the shower curtain. And that's a legitimate fear that some people have, slipping in the shower. So that's what is going to be in my thought bubble. And you can see how I've played around with color up top here, blending in reds with oranges. If you're going to use yellow, and I certainly hope that you do, put that down first and then gently blend around it, because sometimes light colors get overtaken. And then just put in a line of blue where you see it on the piece and smudge and see what that does. And you're going to notice it's going to be a little bit of green action. Now the reason we're using oil pastels for this is because this piece originally was both a painting and I believe a print. And the oil pastels, they really kind of make it look like a painting, which is really cool. And when students finish it, you can notice the similarities with media, even though they are completely different. So keep all this in mind as you're working. For those of you who are remote, you're going to want to pop in and get some of this pastel paper. What I can do is I can put a pad of it out in the vestibule, and you can grab what you need. You might want to take maybe two pieces, so you have one in case you need next one. The toned paper will be in different colors. So it's up to you what color you're going to utilize, but this is going to be so worked up with oil pastels that it'll have a nice kind of undertone to it. So it doesn't totally matter what color paper you want, it's more a personal preference. Okay? And if you have any questions, please feel free to email me or message me, but you've definitely already got these in your portfolio, and the only thing else you need is paper, because you've got your sketchbooks to be able to do some sketches with. Okay? So let me know if you need any help, and we'll see you later. Have a great day.